Okay, this is unbelievable. That big stump over there, almost in the middle of the screen, there's a little log down right beside it. I put the Cougar Call, or the Predator Call, down inside of that log. I've been sitting here for 40 minutes calling. I gave it the upper approach, and that's where it came in from. I was actually just thinking about leaving soon, and because this is a cold call. And I came in, I gave it lots of ways to approach. I got off the main downhill approach, as Steve had suggested. Gave it plenty of cover. I had actually just switched to the caterwaul call that came with the device, and it came charging down the hill. It went right over the machine. I was looking down at it. Then once it saw it wasn't a cougar, it wrapped its way around the backside of the stump, and it came around this area. I raised my gun because it was standing, and I didn't have a good shot at the vitals. Over the call, when it went around, I was thinking it was going to take off up the hill, but instead it came right through here, came just to the side of this tree. It was probably 20 yards from me when I shot it, and that thing jumped so high. I've got to go check for it now. I was set up just at the base of this stump. Gave up my back. Didn't ever look back there. Just focus in. I had pretty limited visibility. Really, only if it came down to the actual call. So it jumped high and bolted down that way. I'm going to have to go look for it right now. 243. I'm going to turn this off for a moment, and I'll turn it back on when I get a chance. There's the spot where it stood. You can see where the earth was torn up when it jumped. There's the blood. So I definitely nailed that sucker. Yeah, that's pretty thick. I'm going to give it a second to hopefully hunker down and die. I'll go show you exactly where that I'll show exactly where that call is. So I'm standing exactly where that cap was. The big stump that's kind of the right, that's where I was hunkered down. I mean, that's literally, if I pace that off, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I was like 14 yards, man. Wow. I was thinking it might come right by me. That was intense. I'm going to head on down there to follow the blood trail. Hopefully I don't need another shot. And I got my work cut out for me. I can approach from right up here. Give it a little stream bed to come down. It came screaming right down here. It stood right over the call, which you can see I have buried right there. No decoy, just the sound. When it stood over it, I didn't quite have a shot at the vitals, so I was patient, but it got nervous when it saw where the sound was coming from. It came right back up around here. Now you can see this tree right here. I waited because I thought it was going to come up on this upper side and go back up the hill where it came from. But instead, it came down through here. It crossed right where I came from and right back to where I showed you where I shot it from. So it came right through here. You can see again where I shot, where the blood is and the leap mark. Again, I'm going to give it a couple more minutes, let the thing hopefully die, and then I'm going to go down and check it out. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes since I shot the cougar. You can see that's right behind me is the spot where it leapt from, and the blood trail begins there. Behind me, that big stump and the log that's right there, that's where the call was hidden. And I'm about to go follow the blood trail on my first cougar I've ever seen in the wild, actually. All right, I may have to drop the phone at any moment to pick up my gun and follow the blood trail. Again, it's been about 15 minutes since I shot this cat. I'm hoping it didn't go too far downhill. Nothing like the Pacific Northwest and rugged timber here. And that will stumble on here. Blood went down there. We'll see how long I can film this, or how long I want to put the phone on and have my gun up to ready. I'm going to save the filming for significant items when things get more exciting. It's gone downhill a long ways. I'm going to have to pack that sucker all the way back up. I lost its blood sign for a second right up there. Came down around. You can see the dirt is pulling up. There's blood in the middle there. So I think it may have chosen to go down one of the stream paths. And we'll continue to search. can see it going right through the bush down the stream. It's making it a little more challenging to find some of the blood, but every once in a while you find it and there's some decent amounts. He has crossed over to the other side. From here I can see right in the center of this piece of a lot of blood on it. The further he goes, the further I've got to pack him. I'm hoping he hasn't gone too much further. Okay, I actually see him. So there's the stick, you can see where he stumbled. He's right down there. I don't see any movement. I'm hoping he's dead. Right in the center of the screen. I can see the color of his fur. I'm going to have to stop film and get my gun ready in case he's not dead yet. So I see him laying down there. He is not looking at me, not moving, not hidden in anything, so I'm thinking that's where he stopped. I'm gonna walk down and let you see it while I see it. And if I drop the phone, it's because he's moving, and I gotta grab my gun. I think he's dead though, which would be a one shot to the heart and lungs area, I'm guessing. Usually they go about 150 yards. No movement at all. I think we got a dead cougar. Well, thank you, Lord. All right, I'm back at the spot where the decoy or the collar was set up. I went down, found the cats about 150 yards down steep terrain. The female, adult female, feels pretty heavy. I wanted to bring my gun and other stuff back up. I'm about 80 yards below. It's not even a logging road, it's just a Forest Service road. It snowed 2 days ago. I was the first tracks on it. I went quite a ways up it. So I'm gonna bring stuff to my truck, which is a ways back on the road. Grab something to eat, get some energy, and then I'm gonna go back down and pack that girl out. So I feel very blessed. Figure I should give you a real good look at that, where the call was set too, so you can see how it was buried. Again, the Cougar came down right here, stood right over it, but that end of the log was just tall enough that I had an obstructed view of the vitals. So I waited, went around that log, and then it went right over. I was a little bit nervous since it found the call, but there was no cat. And yeah, I was nestled in up against that big stump right on the edge of it. And the Cougar came right on that side of that tree. I marked it off 14 yards is when I shot. So yeah, so the call I put down in a little hole right there, and I had it on one less than max volume. I had 9 out of 10 on the volume. I threw a few sticks over it so it would cover it up more. So that was the advice of Steve from Rain Shadow, and boy, he knows his stuff. My setup and everything was right how he'd explained to do it, and yeah, so the cat wouldn't have been able to see the call coming in from below. Came in from above like a predator is apt to do, so you give them there right away. So yeah, I'm gonna pack that up and get out of here. One other important thing, had to punch my tag, December 23rd. I need to grab some string and attach that to the Cougar when I bring it back up, so I want to make sure I'm doing everything by the book. So I don't know if you can see the hat in the middle of the road, kind of right hand side of the road in the dark spot. That's where I came up. My truck's at the end up there, so that's how far I parked. Is probably 150 yards or so before I decided to go down and set up. So I wasn't that far from my truck. 150 yards from the truck, probably another 80 yards down the hill. Now that's going to give me another 150 plus or so to go down to get the cat in very steep terrain. So we'll head back to the truck, grab something to eat, rest for a minute, grab some gear to haul that cat out. It's 2:12. Finally got the Cougar back to the truck. Driving out, gonna go meet my dad. So here's the snow, came down 2 days ago. I had seen coyote tracks, but did not see any cat tracks. And I took out my ICOtech Outlaw for the first time. I was really not planning on getting anything. I was gonna go hunting in 3 days with my... Yeah, I got cut off in the last video. I did a cold call, very first call, 40 minutes in. I was gonna leave in 5 minutes had I not seen anything. If the other video didn't take, I didn't see any cat tracks today. Saw some coyote tracks, but was really just trying to practice using my new call. It's the first time I've ever used it. And I also downloaded Rain Shadow's calls onto it. That's what I use most of the time, a lot of the whistles. And started out with distress, rabbit distresses, switched to whistles and a few other calls. The final one that came in, because I was just trying something different before I left in 5 minutes, I did the caterwaul, which was that comes with the ICOtech Outlaw, and the cat came right into that. I'm sure it had been there, and that was the last thing that enticed it in. So it did not vocalize that I heard it at any point. So